our brand identity is very strongly tied to Funks Grove itself. The Funks have been here since the 1820s, and we have the great privilege of being able to tie our brand to that name. And on our label, you can see right here on our label, we have a combination of trees and row crop production, and I think that kind of typifies what happens here. I think it connotes a lot of history, a lot of deep family ties, a love of the land, and a love of a certain kind of land management, of stewardship. We talk a lot about stewardship and heritage on our farm. There's been a long legacy of the Funks taking good care of this place, and because they have, we still get to benefit from what an amazing place it is. And so when people hear Funks Grove, they get a positive feeling just hearing it. It's a beautiful place to be. It's full of trees and wildflowers. You can take your kids here to go over in the nature center over there. You can come here and get some sweets. And now it's just also, while you're here, you can get pancake mix, you can get fruit leather, you can get delicious sauce and seasoning. Our logo was actually designed by Stephanie Fenty, who used to be with the Land Connection. We still use it just as it is today. In the bottom corner, we have wheat and corn drawn together, and that was drawn by Grace Springer. And we're hoping that we can get her involved in doing some more of our branding and marketing stuff. Like I said, a challenge with our branding is that some people confuse the two businesses, which we understand. We try to explain, but we understand why it's a little confusing because there's actually two different businesses going on here. Another challenge is that maybe if we went back, we would make the name a little shorter, or take out some of the pluralization or something like that. And also because we have the opportunity to potentially add more kinds of enterprises onto what we do than just fruits and grains. But I think it does capture something a little romantic still, and it connotes food and a nice way to live. So for all the things that we could maybe change about it, I'm still very happy with how that works. We do use a lot of social media. We use Facebook and Instagram. The other outlets I just have not bothered with. That's mostly my thing to do for the farm. Instagram is really great for telling a story really fast with a single picture, whether it's a picture of our dog or a food that we're making or product packing. We're on a new shelf somewhere. Super easy to tell a story with that. Facebook is a chance to tell a little bit more of a story in the written word. And also it's still kind of two different audiences. A little younger skewing on Instagram, older skewing on Facebook. And you get a lot more capacity for sharing a lot of information on Facebook really fast. It's amazing sometimes when you hit just the right note with a post and something gets shared a couple dozen times and it just runs away from you, and then you hear from new people that you've never met before.
When I came up with my brand, which is Berries and Flour, Bakery and Harvest Goods, it took me a long time to come up with that name and to make sure that it fit my identity and anything I might want to do in the future. So I don't know, I always love new things, and I'm always like growing and changing and learning and stuff like that. So I knew that cake was not the only thing that I would ever want to do with this. So I definitely wanted to have a piece of the name that people would recognize as baked goods, but also recognize as, the other kinds of things that I might do. I think the third year I was in operation, I actually crowdsourced a logo. So there are a couple of companies that you put in your application and say, this is what I'm looking for, here's my name, here are the things that I do, and here is, what my business is about. I ended up picking someone from Ukraine, and she came up with the logo, and then we worked back and forth with colors and fonts. So I've stuck with that logo because it really represents what my business is about, and it's been something that people see and they go, oh, Berries and Flour. So when I came up with my labels, I wanted there to be an obvious Berries and Flour logo on everything, again, just to have that consistency and show that that's my company's product. I also use craft paper boxes for all my baked goods and make sure that there's a window in there. Craft paper seems more natural, and then the decoration is actually the cake that's inside and the frosting and that sort of thing. I'm definitely learning about social media for sure. I have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, and it really helps me to have all of that combined. So I use, I think it's called Meta for business, which is Facebook and Instagram. Since they're owned by the same company now, I just have to do it once and then it gets sent out to all of those things. So I'm trying to juggle many balls. And so with social media, trying to post everywhere has been definitely a challenge. So that having one place where you can, submit it all has been really good.
So our farm business brand identity is really focused on our organic certification. So we make sure to include the word organic and the organic label in all of our promotional materials and our branding. We also focus on words like community and local and the fact that we're a family farm. So our brand identity for our farm lends little actually to our cottage food products, in that they're two very unique, different businesses within one. They don't have the same logo or packaging, but what is consistent is that focus on community. So when we are using products from farms that we're collaborating with, we are making sure to talk about them as our community members and share their story. We also focus on the uniqueness of our product as part of our brand identity. So rather than just having pickled beets, we have Grandma Catherine's pickled beets, and Grandma Catherine is Hans's, my husband's grandmother, and she was like an OG farmer's wife, and she preserved beets so that they had something to eat all year round, not just because it was cute. And so to be able to tell that story through our product, that's part of our brand identity. So we're adding sentimentality, small farm, rural culture, and connection to our family. The farm logo came from a graphic designer that we hired to create both the logo and the branding package. But the cottage food business doesn't actually have a logo. With the cottage food business, all of our products are kind of unique and short-lived and one-time only, so it would be very expensive to have branding and packaging made for each unique product. So I do all of that myself online. Social media is a very important piece of our marketing plan. I think some of the things that we have to keep in mind when we're utilizing social media is to be extremely consistent, post frequently, use pictures every single time because people love to see what you're doing. It helps to tell your story. And to also make sure that I am sharing the journey to the product and not just the product itself. So if I'm going to make a ramp pesto, I'm going to go out into the field and show them where I'm picking the ramps. Or if I make a product that is terrible and sucks and it isn't ever going to make it to the customer, I'll probably show them that because it's real and part of the story too. I use Facebook and Instagram because I know who my target customer is, and those are the platforms that they're primarily on. I stay away from Snapchat and TikTok because A, I don't feel comfortable using them. I'm not that familiar with it, but also that's typically not where my customers are hanging out.